Welcome back to the podcast. Day number 13 of Appalachian Trail Summer 2025. And today we are actually going just a little over 10 miles to the co-op in New Hampshire. And I'll give you more info on that in a little bit. Just a parking area there. But today is a big day, folks. We are leaving Vermont and we are headed to the Vermont-New Hampshire border over the Connecticut River. The famous plaque there along the bridge over the Connecticut River that says VT/New Hampshire. We will be there later this morning. This morning, I started a little bit before 6 a.m. and I am about a mile in. So this morning, I left the bridge at White River and I am hiking to Vermont-New Hampshire border and a little bit beyond that to a co-op store. But once we get to the border, there is a nice walk through Hanover, and probably stop and have lunch along the way there in Hanover, and then make my way over to the co-op where the van is. Y'all, I just went through some more Vermud. Where the van is, and kind of go from there. But an early start this morning because today is another one of those heat advisory days, and it is already warm, muggy, and buggy, and I doused myself in some good bug spray before I even left this morning. So hopefully that'll ward them off before I have to use my 100% DEET. And y'all already know, if you listened to yesterday's episode, my extreme method of what I have to do when there's crazy bugs out here. But anyway, we started this morning at mile marker 1,746.4, and we are going north to 1,756.1, and a mile or a mile and a half beyond that. I don't have that mile marker right now. 1,800 feet of ascent, 1,800 feet of descent. So a pretty even day. Oh, I wrote it down. So once I get to the bridge there at the Vermont-New Hampshire border, I'll have another 1.1 mile hike through Hanover to the co-op. And then once I end today, 424.5 miles to Katahdin. And that is how our day is going to roll today. But I need to back up and fill y'all in. Yesterday, when I crossed the White River, there's a library there in the White River town. Very small town, y'all, not big. No, not even a stoplight. I saw some people sitting at it's either the library or the community center, under a tree. So when I walked up, they were like, "Hey, how's it going?" And we just started chatting. Then I realized it wasn't a group of different thru hikers. It was a family. And they call themselves, I wrote it down, and they also have a YouTube channel I looked up last night, 6-Pack Hikers. So 4 kids, 3 daughters, a son, mom and dad, from outside of Asheville, North Carolina. We had a great chat under a tree yesterday and actually got some pictures of each other. They said they had a YouTube channel, and I looked it up last night. And the YouTube channel is the same name, 6-Pack Hikers. And y'all, they got a pretty large following, almost 10,000 followers. So that is awesome. So it was good to meet with them last night. And the kids were excited to get in the library so they could read books. How refreshing. I asked them, hey, you don't want to hurry up and get in there and get on your iPad? And they were like, no. So that was awesome. So I told them I had a podcast and what I was out here doing. And we just kind of exchanged. I gave them a sticker. And they were waiting for the library to open so they could get in there and get in some shade. So that was awesome. So I am sure they are ahead of me now. Y'all, I'm sorry, I'm having to stop again. Blaze to blaze, here we go. Because I was done for the day when I met them, and I'm sure they carried on once the heat broke. But regardless, another thing, the guy out trying to break Tara Dower's fastest known time is supposed to come through this area today. Who knows if I'll see him, because y'all, I think he is starting back at US 4, which is back where I ended one of my days. That's the day you go up and over Killington and down to US 4 at the inn at Long Trail. So he was starting there this morning. I think I figured out I'm 50 something miles ahead of him. So I believe his day will end where I end somewhere. But who knows? If he catches up with me this morning, he's a superhuman. And I say go for it. I love following along all the FKT stuff. Especially when Tara did it, you know, because Tara is a friend of mine. She's been on the podcast multiple times. And if you want to go back in the archives to Tara's original interview, where I interviewed her in the van back in 2020, when she set the FKT time on the Mountains of Sea Trail. So that's how long she's been at this and grinding and doing her thing. So y'all, I am bambling on again. So I will be back sometime toward the middle of the hike, or maybe when I get out on the road. That's the other thing. So in about 6 miles or less, I will pop out on Elm Street and you have a road walk. I think it's a 2.5 mile road walk through a little town, then on into Hanover. And I think, if I remember, you either walk by or around Dartmouth College. So that'll be fun. And I'm going to stop yammering and get to it. So I'll see y'all in a little bit. All right, y'all. I just looked a little over 3 miles in, and I was thinking about kind of my ending yesterday and how I'm so grateful and thankful. And I feel that same way this morning. And whenever I'm on trail, just something happens. Even, sleeping overnight, getting off trail, and then I'm still nervous that next morning when I get back on trail. And I think I will know when I stop having that fun, nervous first date anxiety when I get back on trail. That's when I know it might be time to move on or move to the next thing. But I was thinking this morning, yesterday, tears of joy, very grateful and thankful. And since this is my 20th year back out on the Appalachian Trail, have not missed hiking on the trail for 20 summers. And there's a purpose and a drive to that as well. So when I first started hiking on the trail, I didn't even know what a through hiker was or a section hiker was. And then you have that growth and you're backpacking. And then I learned about slack packing, and, then I learned about the roads on the Appalachian Trail and different strategies and different ways you can complete the trail. And all along, I always thought one day I'll through hike the trail, and, that'll be when I've really made it. And that's not the case. If you complete the trail as a section hiker, you've made it. And I was thinking this morning, what I do is very purposeful and very driven. So the first time I finished the trail in 2017, I thought I was done with the AT, started the podcast, and all that has been major growth. And then in 2019, bought the van, and every year just add new things to the van. And y'all, the van is just a 2018 Sprinter van work truck that we had a guy build the inside. So basically we just bought a van, a shell, and we had a guy down in Jacksonville, Florida, build some of the inside for us. And every year just add on to that. And the van has been a major game changer in growth and purpose since 2018. And pretty much the van is a second home. And it's awesome. And the point of all this is it's been very purposeful and very driven. And it goes to having goals and expectations for yourself in your life. And your goals can be years away. And what are you going to do to build up to achieving that goal? And if you're like me, I enjoy the process of reaching that goal. And typically, once I reach the goal, I have either formulated or begin formulating another goal. So, along with the joy and tears is very purposeful and driven mindset. I am very purposeful when it comes to my work for 10 months, and then the 60 days that I have off during the summer is very valuable and precious time. And during the school year, I drive the school bus, or the activity, they call it activity bus, to make extra money. This year I did additional audio editing deals to make extra money. So in addition to, my full-time job, I also did some part-time jobs during that same time to build my summer fund, is what I call it. And then I build that summer fund, and that's what I live off of. Even though I still get a regular paycheck through the summer, because I also make sure that I'm covered for 12 months out of the year, so I don't miss a beat when it comes to bills and things like that. So I guess my point is, everything, joy and tears, also comes hard work, dedication, doing things when you don't want to do it, aka taking side gigs to earn money, and doing those things knowing it'll pay off when you're out doing what you love. So hopefully that makes sense. So yesterday we had tears of joy, like real tears of joy. And today I am relishing in the hard work that I put in over the last 10 months and dedication to make this happen. So, and that's fun too. Because of that hard work and dedication, I'm able to be out here on the trail for 60 days. So then what'll happen in August, I'll go right back into, work, figuring out how I can make extra money to build that summer fund once again. And remember, I took that school job, and my students don't believe me. I'm like, I didn't start this job to be an educator. I started this job because I wanted my summers off. And then I learned how to be an educator. So I guess the moral of the story is these are just thoughts going through my brain. So yesterday, I'm still thankful for my tears of joy. And now I'm thankful that, hard work, dedication, doing things you don't want to do, it all pays off when you can come out and do your hike or your adventure trip that you want to do, and your tears of joy will come. So, all right, I'm done rambling on. Let's get to New Hampshire. All right, y'all, I am about a mile away from popping out to the road walk. And I'm not sure I explained this properly when I started the episode, so I wanted to come on here and explain. My total miles for the day are 10.3. So back at White River to Hanover, and then walking through Hanover to this co-op area that allows people to park and all that good stuff. So the total is 10.3. But the cool thing is, this morning, the first part of the morning was getting the climb out of the way, and now I'm on the nice pine needly trail, very nice trail for Vermont, working my way down to, so I'm going to pop out on Elm Street, and then I'm going to hike on Elm Street, and I'm not sure the name of the next street I turn on, maybe I don't, but then we're going to go through the little town of Norwich on the road, major traffic, and then get to the bridge where you officially leave Vermont and go into New Hampshire. And then you walk through the little town of Hanover and go by this co-op area and then off into the trail of New Hampshire. So that is going to be happening very soon. And I am excited to get out on the road and actually enjoy going through these towns, even though it's going to be warm. I just remember it back in 2014, like, yes, finally made my way through Vermont. And now I'm finally making my way through Vermont for a second time into New Hampshire. And there is a plan for New Hampshire, going through the Whites. Made the total plan last night, and I'm going to do a separate podcast episode giving you all that total plan, but that will be here in a few days. So, y'all, I'm getting ready to pop out on Elm Street and walk toward the border and give the border a big slap, take pictures, all the fun things, and I will be back. All right, y'all, I have made my way down Elm Street, took a right on Main Street, and I am walking to the border of Vermont and New Hampshire over the Connecticut River. I think it's the Connecticut River. And hit that border sign, and here shortly we will be in New Hampshire. And a couple days from now, we will be entering the White Mountains. So I am going to leave you all to it. What a great morning. What a hot morning. But beautiful trail. Feeling good. Walking into New Hampshire. I'm going to get me some good old lunch in Hannaford. Or not Hannaford. Yeah, Hannaford. Hanover. Hannaford's is a grocery store. Y'all, trail braid. So walking into Hanover and gonna get something to eat and make my way over to the co-op for a 10.3 mile day, which leaves 424.5 miles to Katahdin. Here we go, folks, New Hampshire. Thanks for listening. Be safe out there and happy section hiking.